Well, Republican U.S. Senate candidate Kurt Bills is raising some eyebrows with his new campaign ad.
Hi, I'm Kurt Bills. I'm running for the United States Senate here in Minnesota. I don't have millions of dollars in lobbyist and Wall Street money, so I'm going to have to make this quick. This is my wife, Cindy, and our 4 kids.
The ad is clearly modeled on a famous one, the one by late Democratic Senator Paul Wellstone called Fast-Paced Paul. The new ad is called Quick Kurt. They differ on politics, but Bills says he and Wellstone still have a lot in common. And Kurt Bills joins us now to talk about his campaign against Amy Klobuchar. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me, Esme.
One of the problems that your campaign has had is you're not getting a lot of attention. People don't know who you are. This ad is creating a fair amount of controversy. What do you have to say who people say that this ad is disrespectful to the late senator?
Oh, not at all. It's actually an homage to him. And when we were looking at how we, with a limited amount of resources, can get my name out and get that buzz going about us, we started to see, oh my goodness, look at the comparisons in how we campaign. So the two campaigns are very similar. We both drive around in a bus. We're both educators. Senator Wellstone was a political science professor. I'm a teacher of economics and advanced placement micro and macroeconomics, and we both have a passion for wrestling. And when Senator Wellstone ran in 1990, everybody said, well, here's a guy who's underfunded who just can't win. And lo and behold, here I am, you know, a couple of decades later. So it's very similar. And we thought, well, here's a way that we can get the buzz out and help Minnesotans to understand who Kurt Bills is, too.
David Wellstone, the late senator's son, certainly took issue with it. He said, quote, Kurt Bills' economic policies are the polar opposite of what my dad stood for. Amy Klobuchar has fought for middle-class families and does things the way my dad did them, with optimism, warmth, and an unending respect for the people of Minnesota.
Yeah.
Reaction.
Well, I think I have a lot of optimism and warmth too, especially as a public school economics teacher, a guy who's looked into the eyes of kids for the last 15 years, you know, teaching them about our national debt, our deficits, and these kids see that we're going off a cliff. So that's where my warmth comes from, is the kids that I've taught. Very, very similar to Senator Wellstone. We're both educators.
In terms of the policies and what you believe in, I mean, that's what David Wellstone is taking issue with. And I think others people question, and one of the things you say in the ad is that Senator Wellstone would have voted against the stimulus bill and against the bank bailout. Is it a bit presumptuous to say how somebody who has passed away might have voted when they're not there to respond?
Yeah, just remembering Senator Wellstone, I really don't believe, in my opinion, that Senator Wellstone would have voted to bail out Wall Street bankers. There's just no way. When we see the stimulus going towards CEO bonuses, he would have stood up and stood against that, and I'm the same way. We can't continue to bail out Wall Street. We can't continue to funnel stimulus funds to big corporations like Solyndra and think that we're going to get out of this fiscal mess that we're in.
Right. You know, generally, incumbents have an enormous advantage. They're well known, they're well funded, as is Senator Klobuchar, and in general, they tend to get reelected unless they kind of mess up. How has Senator Klobuchar messed up? You
know, she hasn't led. You know, you just did a story on Hubert Humphrey. There's a leader. You know, Senator Wellstone, conservatives respect him because he was a leader. We don't agree with his policies or his ideology, but we sure do respect the man who votes one way in Washington, D.C., and then comes back and explains why he voted that way. I don't like it, and I don't think Minnesotans like it, when a senator votes one way in Washington, D.C. and comes back and claims to be a moderate just to get reelected. I don't like that. I want a senator to lead. Somebody with that much likability, or somebody with that much money, needs to be leading on our national debt, our deficits, our trade deficits, entitlement reform. Where is that type of leadership right now? Those leaders can come together, as President Clinton just pointed out in your last story. Those leaders come together. The people who are fiery, I enjoyed sitting next to Tommy Rukavina in tax committee. He and I are very ideologically different.
And I'm sure Representative Rukavina is not supporting you in this.
No, absolutely not. But you know what? We get along. When I saw him up in Aurora, when we were up at a parade up in Aurora in the Iron Range, he came up to me, big handshake, you know, smiles. That's the type of leaders we need. People who are ideologically opposed can still come together and discuss and find ways forward. That's real leadership.
But you know, Senator Klobuchar really, I think, has made a name for herself in being able to reach across the aisle and work with others. She certainly worked with Representative Michelle Bachmann on the Stillwater Bridge. She certainly worked with Eric Paulson and other Republicans opposing the president's view on the medical device tax. I mean, how can you argue that she is somebody who just toes a party line or has not taken some stands that many Democrats would view as moderate, perhaps even conservative?
I would say because we've doubled the national debt in the last 6 years, we've doubled the unemployment rate. That's my intention, is to point those things out in this campaign. Also, the medical device tax. Why is she not co-authoring Representative or Congressman Paulson's bill in the Senate? That's what we need to do. That device tax is going to crush our medical device industry in this state.
Well, she certainly opposes it.
She opposes it, but yet she voted for the tax.
All right, Kurt Bills, thank you so much. That is the last word, and we certainly will be following your campaign.
Thank you so much for having me in. Have a great day.
Thank you.